Yes, sir.
So I've got 2 o'clock. Why don't we start getting into the meat of today? I see Chris Mayer, I see David Duncan, Maurice. I know you're on there somewhere. I guess you're one caller 3 or 4. I saw Tommy on there. I see Ann on there. Um, who else? Bill, Jennifer. Who am I missing?
Um,
Um,
I see
Jason.
AIS, which is Fred Norman's here.
Okay.
And I'll just let you know that's Christian Parrish, and I'm just on the phone.
Okay. Caller number 4, Kristen Parrish. Gotcha.
Okay.
4.
Everybody? Who's on with JTZ?
I don't see him.
Easy is John Summer.
Yeah, there he is. Yeah, he's here.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Perfect. All right. I've got 2 o'clock. William, I thought we would start with a discussion on some of the open items. I know you've done some research on testing statistics. We talked a lot about salesperson testing, as we do in each of these meetings. And you were going to check and see kind of what's happening with testing volumes since we last met. And do you have some data on that?
I do have some data on that. And so let me pull it up a little bit. Well, I can talk in general. Ron, you have the raw numbers. I believe the numbers I've supplied, Ron, spoke to a geographical area basically of 344 or so in the Northern Virginia area, 208 or so in the Tidewater area. But when you include the 20% fail rate to each of the areas, it puts Northern Virginia above 400, and it puts Tidewater about 260 or 265, something like that, as far as ones that we have tested in the last few months. The dealer board, just the dealer board.
If you don't have the data in front of you, you said since May, DMV's administered 545 salesperson tests, 439 passed, 106 failed. The dealer board has proctored 879 exams, 713 passed, 168 failed. So since May, and is this data up to just the other day or so?
Last week.
So we're really saying May, June, July, August, 4 months roughly?
Basically. We started about the 13th of May, and that data is through, I want to say, through August 26th, 27th, something like that.
So that says in 4 months, there's been about 1,400 tests, a little less than that?
Right.
Just for an overall volume, which is obviously less than what we were originally pacing when we said 700
a month, right?
So 4 months, 1,400 tests would be roughly what, 350 a month or so. Okay.
Now DMV didn't come back online until the end of May, 1st of June. So they were about 2 or 3 weeks behind us coming back. And I think when they came back, they had very few salesperson's tests out there, but I can't say for sure. Okay,
and then as you alluded, by area of that 1,400, 412 were in Northern Virginia, 248 in Tidewater, and these are of the ones you administered.
Right,
of the ones you administered, right. 412 were in Northern Virginia. Tidewater had 248, and 218 were around the rest of the state. Right. So of the ones you administered, Northern Virginia accounted for almost half.
Right.
Shy of half. So about 45%. Okay. Okay. So the volume would appear to be a little bit less than what we originally started. Now, obviously, it might be a little bit greater as DMV continues to come online and testing's a little more accessible. But all in all, these numbers are less than what we were originally talking about. Okay. Okay. How did Sterling go?
For the first week, I think it went very well. We have 45 slots available to us. we're able to fill 30 slots, and I think that's pretty good when you consider that the word only got out Thursday and Friday to the dealerships through, I guess, VADA's communication and our efforts and VIADA's efforts. We were able to get 30 slots filled up. So what we did was we took the morning block and we scheduled a couple of dealer operator tests in the afternoon. This week, we've already got 15 people signed up today so far for next week's test. So I think it's going to be even better next week. So I think we did pretty good for the first week, considering we had two.
40, is it, and I'm not mean to nitpick, but is it 42 or 45? You said 45.
It is 45.
Okay, last week I wrote 42.
Yeah,
So
it was 45.
So it's 180 slots a month, roughly. Okay. And we've got till October 14th to utilize them. And how's the registration going with you guys? Is that working well?
We have some refinement to do, but for the most part, the dealerships and VADA's letter was very specific, as we requested. Told the dealerships they need to send us and majors here at the dealer board the individual's name, phone number, email address, and just for sake of, I guess, opportunity, a desired time. But for the most part, we've had to assign the time based off of receiving the applications. But we get those things, the information, we then do an Excel spreadsheet, and we give it to DMV the Friday before the test. We gave it to them last Friday, and then they took the weekend to upload their system with the appointments. We've had a couple cancellations or substitutions, but that's worked out well so far. We got the information of the people who were canceled out and the information of the people they wanted to replace them with and plug them to that same slot that we vacated. So tomorrow is a big day when it comes to this. I think it's going to go through very well.
Okay. Okay. And have we heard from any other CSC locations?
No.
So Tidewater, we were, I know, trying to talk with them about doing the same type of thing in that area. Nothing additional to report with any other customer service centers.
No, nothing.
Okay. But it would appear that, I'm sorry, did you?
What we have done with the Tidewater area, though, we have found a couple of places that will hold up to 10 people testing. And we have a series of testing scheduled for this Friday, September, for this upcoming Friday, September the 4th, on the Hampton side in Yorktown. So we are finding places that will allow us to use them, and we are scheduling the same way. And some of those people are coming from the beach side of Tidewater as well as the peninsula side. So.
And how are they aware of that? Just through contacting the dealer board?
Yes.
Okay. Do we want to publicize that any more than we already have, or?
We're working on it. The process, Ron, is that the people contacting the dealer board in the first place to get somebody to proctor the test. At that point, we're directing them to go to this location.
Got it. Got it. Okay, so they're coming to you to get proctors for the test, and you're able to maybe steer them to a location in Hampton.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. How about any other, since demand appears to be lessening or is less than what we thought, how about complaints, inquiries? Is there anybody hearing any complaints about can't get tested, need to get tested? Any feedback? None at all?
There's nothing that I'm aware of. I haven't heard anything through Alvin. I don't think Alvin's on the call right now, but I haven't heard anything from Alvin that the VIDA has had any complaints of anybody who could not get tested.
Okay. Okay. And is any VADA and Tommy, anybody complain about the length of time to get tested?
No, we haven't heard from dealers on that for, several weeks now. I think it's, things are starting to sort of work their way through the system a bit. So I'm pleased to report we don't have any issues to bring forward either.
Okay, thank you. And we had a discussion last time about potential dealer locations, and we kind of ruled that out, right, Chris? We talked about that, and we weren't as a group really pro even if a dealer offered it up, you might want to proctor a test at their location, William, but we wouldn't use it as a way to bring other salespeople in from other dealerships.
And we agree with that. That makes sense.
Yeah. Right. Right. And according to my notes now, we have 3 approved vendors for the background checks.
Yes.
Okay. Screen
Yes,
one.
Yeah.
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead. No, good.
Screen one, accurate and reliant.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. And were you alluding, William, that you're getting other requests and looking at other vendors? I know you were trying to make sure we were making good decisions around duration, cancellation, volume, requirements, any of that kind of stuff when you sign up for these vendors. But any other comments?
Yeah, we have, I think, 3 or 4 that are in the process now. And when I say the process, they're at a point now where we're looking at the MOU agreement between their organization and the dealer board, us, because of the our use of the data for the most part. We're not paying them anything. We're not using their services, but we have to access their data to do our job. So they have some requirements that they need to put in place for us to, I guess, sign up to. So we're looking at the contract, at the MOUs now. A couple of them, we have made edits to their MOU and sent it back for them to review. Just waiting for them to get back with us. And I think we have 1 or 2 more that have expressed interest that we have started, which is why I was making a comment before the meeting started about the fact that, at some point we're going to cut this off because we're not going to have the time and ability to go through 7, 8, 9, 10 different vendors to look up the username, the password, to log into their system, to pull their one record, then come out and do the same thing with the next vendor on a totally different dealership.
So we have 3, and you said you're looking at 3 or 4 more?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It appears just out of the way things worked out that a lot of the dealerships have a preferred HR company they're working with, and they want to bring their company to the table for various reasons, and which is fine. But I guess my thing simply is it's going to get to a point where we have to say, okay, we have so many people, this is enough for right now until we lose people or whatever. But, that's something we can discuss in the board meeting. We can bring it up and we can go from there.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I would think that's partly driven by demand and volume, right? And okay. How are the dealers doing adhering to the new policy of, doing the background check prior to submitting the sales application?
It could use a lot of work. We are still getting a lot of checks for us to do the background check. We're still getting money for dealerships wanting us to do the background check, which is kind of defeating the purpose of what we're trying to do overall.
Will you do that if that in fact occurs, or are you going to at some point push back and say that's really the responsibility of the dealership?
We are in a transition period right now for the most part. We said we will work with them for a little while to help them, but we're getting to the point that we're going to have to start pushing back.
Okay. That's probably another topic we should bring up with the dealer board too, so everybody's aware. But I would agree. I mean, with having to do less, with having to do what we can with this COVID and working from home and everything else we have going on, I mean, the dealerships need to help us with this process, and it's really going to bottleneck the process if they're not getting their background checks done. Mm-hmm. Okay. Got it. Any other updates on the background check companies or anything else you would like to discuss, or anybody else would like to discuss in that area? Okay. William, on the dealer board licensing process, separate email, secured email, we've talked a little bit about this. I know your team's been working on that.
Yes, correct. Mm-hmm. We have gone to VITA, which is our technology agency for the state. We have requested a specific mailbox for the salesperson application, all that process. They started working on that last week after the last subcommittee meeting. We got word back earlier, latter last week, that the process is almost complete. So we anticipate the email address being available sometime in the next couple of days. And then at that point, I guess it's just a matter of us either advertising and setting it up. But once we get the email in place, then we can move forth with it. And my only concern with that is, right now, is if we move forth with it, that we will be receiving applications from dealerships with the 61s, which is part of the process, but without the background checks being completed, which puts us right back to where we were before this whole thing started, where we will have the application, we will have the everything, don't have the criminal background check, and then dealerships complaining that they submitted to the board on this day, haven't heard nothing back 7, 8 days later because we don't have the background check completed. It's not completed at that time.
Do you think you'll be able to, let's say they submit via the mailbox electronically and there's no background check, attached or done or completed? Do you see yourself or your group responding back, just letting them know what's missing in their packet?
Yeah, we could do that. I can see us doing. I mean, first of all, one of the things that you asked for was a feature to let the dealerships know that we received the email. So that's been worked on as well. But if we go into the receive the application and the background check is pending or not complete, we're gonna have to let them know that we don't have it and we can't do it at the time because we don't have the information we need to do our part. So we'll have to do that.
Right. So, and just so I understand this process, when they submit their application, I forget the form you called it, a form 60 or something.
61.
Okay, yeah. I filled out 60 and that's why I never got licensed. But so they submit 61. Is there somewhere on there where they write the reference number or a code down for the background check? How do you know where to go look or what to do?
Section 4 of the application has the name of the vendor and the identifier number there, which we to access to see that particular record.
Okay. But it doesn't force them to make sure the background check's done before they submit to you. They can just submit to you and it's still not done.
Right.
Is that how you want it to work?
Now we want it completed. I mean, we want it to be completed when we receive it. Now, don't get me wrong. It's possible for the person to come on board, you do the background check while they're testing or preparing to test. And by the time the application comes to us, it could be done. What we think will happen is that once you submit the information to the background provider, that they will give you a unique identifier at that time. But the background check is just not complete at that time. Now, most of the people we've talked to said that the background check could be done within 24 hours, but that depends on the person's background. If the background is clean, it could go through pretty quickly. But if the background has a history, or if the background individual has multiple places they've lived in their life, it might take more days and more time to complete the background check. In which case, it will say pending when we go into the system. If it's pending, nothing till it's finalized.
Right. Okay. I almost, just thinking out loud, I almost wish that form had like some kind of a approval number on it where they had to give you the approval number of the background check being completed before they submitted the application. So you're not going in circles checking with the vendor all the time to see if the background check's done. Right. And that should really be I would think, the dealership's responsibility.
Right. And I think when we started this process, we were hoping that they would not submit it until they saw a final product versus a pending product. But so, and it could still get to that point. So that's going to depend maybe on us pushing back more, but also in the pushback, I can see issues where some people might be upset by it or offended by it, but we just have to grow through that process.
Right. I mean, because you're not really staffed to be checking all these background companies all the time to see if something's approved or not.
Mm-mm.
Okay. We need to think about that one and make sure that the responsibility and ownership is on the dealership, right?
Right.
Does anybody disagree with that? Okay. Got it. Okay, so is it VITA, VIDA, or
VITA.
VITA? Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Other discussions from last time, we did talk for a little while about Mannheim again in Fredericksburg, right? Alvin had talked about that. And we were kind of using that as a backup plan based on what demand looked like. I don't see Alvin on this call unless he's one of the callers. Is there any update from the Fredericksburg Mannheim perspective?
I have not heard any update from Alvin at all, but I can certainly get that information and bring it next time.
Yeah, Chris, it would just, we talked about doing it. I know Mannheim was offered up their facility. I think we talked a little bit about the fact that, Fredericksburg is at least an hour south of Northern Virginia and could be accessible to the part of the Richmond market, the Fredericksburg market, and part of that other eastern market. So I still think it is something we'd like to at least pursue as a an alternate. And then William, if we can hear from any other CSCs, I know we got lucky with Sterling and they were opening, and so we got a day set aside. But if we could hear from any other CSCs, that would be helpful as well. Okay. How about new business, things that we haven't discussed thus far that we need to talk about? Gosh, I'm liking this. Anybody have any new business I'd like to bring to the floor? Hearing none, I think, William, we're about done. We just need to schedule the next meeting, which would be the 8th of September.
At 2 o'clock. Mm-hmm.
At 2 o'clock, and then after that, we'll be in a board meeting, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
Okay. All right, that's all I had. I am grateful for everyone's time. I'm grateful for the duration of this meeting. And now you can go listen to the second most important person, the governor. Have a great day.
Take care.
Have a great day. Have a good day. All right. Bye-bye.
Yes.